Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in Modern. Today we're looking at 8-Rack. 8-Rack is a deck that seeks to shred the opponent's hand with discard spells, getting them low on cards or empty-handed, then slowly win with incremental damage via either the Rack or Shrieking Affliction. The deck can also win by attacking with Urza's Saga tokens or Nether Spirit. Any opposing creatures that make it through the initial discard onslaught are then either killed with removal spells or neutralized by Ensnaring Bridge. Because the deck is almost solely focused on discard effects, it has little ability to recoup its own resources. However, later in the game, the deck can ensure the opponent is never able to keep a card in their hand by continually recasting Raven's Crime or upticking Liliana of the Veil. 8-Rack plays few creatures itself, making opposing creature removal ineffective. Combined with its 1-for-1 discard, it helps make the deck uniquely able to take advantage of Smallpox. Because of its density of discard spells, 8-Rack preys on linear decks that require specific pieces or synergistic decks that require a critical mass of resources. However, it's very bad against low mana value decks that are able to operate with few resources and decks that pack a lot of card advantage spells. Also, white cards that can answer its win conditions like Prismatic Ending and March of Otherworldly Light. 4-color Blink and similar blue control or mid-range decks are nightmare matchups. Wrenn and 6 is uniquely problematic since it recurs a card every turn, which invalidates the deck's entire strategy. Beyond that, there isn't much to say. 8-Rack is extremely linear and not very customizable. It's on the fringes of playability in the format, and it's not that it can't win, but its record is unimpressive. When sideboarding, because you're trying to grind your opponent out of their resources overall and generally not hit specific cards, targeted hate such as Leyline of the Void can act as de facto discard. For example, if you have Graveyard Hate versus Murktide Regent, you haven't literally made them discard it, but you may as well have. This is the same principle that Lantern Control operates under. Tips and tricks. 8-Rack has traditionally had the distinction of being the only deck in the format potentially interested in being on the draw since it's trying to run the opponent out of cards. I've never agreed with that idea personally, and I think the huge increase in the power level of cards over the years makes starting on the play inarguable. For example, do you really want to be on the draw versus Ragavan or Hammer Time? Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize are better than the discard spells that don't let you choose, such as Raven's Crime and Funeral Charm. If you have to, prioritize the former. If you're playing against an aggro deck and need to dump your hand in a hurry for Ensnaring Bridge, you can target yourself with your own discard spells. Running a full playset of Urborg's legendary land may seem excessive. However, they're important for color fixing the colorless lands in the deck, and extra ones can be pitched to Raven's Crime or sacrificed to Smallpox. Torok triggers if your opponent discards for any reason, not just from its own ability. You can use your many other discard spells to grow it further. I hope you've enjoyed this look at 8-Rack. I want to thank my fellow players in the Magic community for whom sharing their experiences helps make these guides possible. You can find additional resources, such as an up-to-date deck list, in the description. If you think I left out anything important or got something wrong, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned to see what deck we look at next time.